What if your body became a subscription service? Not for a sci-fi corporation, for your rent. Twice a week. Same chair, same needle, same payment. And the strangest part is this: it's legal, it's regulated, and it's powering medicine around the world. This is the blood plasma economy. Plasma is liquid full of human proteins. Those proteins get turned into medicine, and the world is hungry for them. A debit card, a calendar stamped 2x week. Let's unpack this business model. Scroll 1, the clinic that pays. Most people know blood donation as volunteer work. You give, you leave. No money. Plasma is different. Plasma is the liquid part of blood, and source plasma is collected at specialized centers. In the US, many donors are paid, not called payment in ads, often framed as compensation for time. And the FDA has language for it. If money is given, it's a paid donor situation. So the first twist is simple. This is not charity. This is a market. If plasma is so valuable, why does one country supply so much of it? Scroll 2, the global dependence. Here's the number that should make you sit up. The United States supplies around 70% of the world's plasma used for medicines. That is not a small lead. That is dependence. Many countries rely on imports, which means a local disruption becomes a global shortage. So why the US? Why not Europe? Why not Japan? Why not everywhere? Because the US has a model most countries don't. Compensated plasma collection at scale. And scale matters. There are over 1,000 plasma collection centers in the US in recent counts. This isn't a niche. It's infrastructure. A 70% global supply. But the real story isn't the number. It's the business model behind the number. Scroll 3, the 2 per week model. Plasma centers don't run like donation drives. They run like gyms, appointments, check-ins, return visits, referral bonuses, and the frequency is the engine. In the US, donors can donate up to twice a week with spacing rules. Twice a week is not a suggestion. It's a revenue rhythm, and the pay is not random. Many sources describe typical compensation ranges like $30 to $70 per donation, sometimes more with promotions. Which means the system can feel like this. You're not selling plasma once. You're selling consistency. So who shows up? Over and over. And why? Scroll 4, the human math. Here's what makes this story unsettling. Plasma is tied to poverty patterns. Not always, but often enough that researchers study the link. Because the promise is immediate. Money today, not next paycheck, not next month. Some donors describe it like survival income. Bills, groceries, tuition, debt. And that changes the psychology. A donation becomes a decision made under pressure. And pressure makes systems powerful. Because when you need something, you tolerate more. Long waits, multiple screenings, needles, bruises. This is the moral tension. A life-saving supply chain, built on financial gravity. But plasma isn't the final product. It's the raw material. And what it becomes is worth far more. Scroll 5. The product isn't plasma. Plasma gets processed into therapies, plasma-derived medicines, especially immunoglobulin for immune disorders. One advocacy group explains it can take around 130 plasma donations to make a year's supply of immunoglobulin for one adult patient with primary immunodeficiency. That number reframes everything, because it means demand doesn't rise gently. It rises like a staircase. And globally, immunoglobulin demand has been growing for years. Some analyses cite annual demand growth in the range of 6 to 8%, when demand grows faster than supply. Not because it's trendy, because patients depend on it. Across the EU and EEA, most countries reported immunoglobulin market disruptions in 2022. That can mean delayed deliveries, hospitals prioritizing the sickest patients, or switching products when preferred brands aren't available. Australia has also warned that worldwide immunoglobulin shortages can affect both supply and price. So the market needs more plasma. If this is life-saving, then who controls the pipeline? Scroll 6. The winners. This is where it stops feeling like donation and starts feeling like a commodity chain. The plasma industry is concentrated. A small number of companies run a huge share of collection and manufacturing capacity. In the US, the same names repeat. CSL Plasma, Grifols through Biomat and related brands, BioLife, owned by Takeda, and Octapharma Plasma. And these are not small networks. They are industrial-scale supply chains. CSL says its plasma network has nearly 330 donation centers globally, including the US and Europe. Grifols has described a global network of more than 350 plasma donor centers. BioLife announced it opened its 200th plasma donation center in the US in 2023. Octapharma says it operates over 180 donation centers in the US and 21 centers in Germany. Now connect that to what vertically integrated means. It means the same company can control the chair and the cure. They collect plasma in their own centers. They ship it to fractionation facilities. They manufacture therapies like immunoglobulin and albumin. Then they distribute those medicines through global channels. So one clinic chair in one city can be linked to a patient on another continent. That's the eerie beauty of the system, and the eerie danger. Because global demand doesn't just pull on supply, it pulls on the people who supply it. And remember this, the US supplies around 70% of the world's plasma used for these medicines. So if the system strains here, patients feel it everywhere. Scroll 7. The risks and grey zones. Plasma centers screen donors, test for infections, monitor vitals, use regulated processes. Plasma can also be treated during manufacturing to reduce pathogen risk. But frequency raises questions people argue about. Because twice a week is intensive. Some reporting notes uncertainty about long-term effects and mentions findings like changes in certain proteins or antibodies among frequent donors. The truth is not a clean headline. It's a system that is both regulated and controversial, both life-saving and dependent on financial incentive. So what do we call this? A public good or a quiet extraction? Scroll 8. The moral. The blood plasma economy doesn't fit in one moral box. On one side, patients need these therapies, and the supply chain has to exist. On the other side, a huge share of the world depends on one country's paid donor system, and inside that system, need becomes the recruitment engine. So the real question is not, is donating plasma good or bad? The real question is quieter. Why is this the way we built it? Why did a life-saving supply chain end up tied to rent money? In the plasma economy, the product isn't just medicine, it's reliability. And the most reliable thing in the world is desperation. Let us know your thoughts. This is Ledger of Lies. Click here for more lies.